Hello everybody, my name is Alckemy. Welcome to the channel. We are going to be working on some stuff for the Bitwig Æturnum pack. I am currently on the couch. I might move to a different location depending on how loud it is, but feel free to let me know what's going on with the sound in the background as I'm trying to mitigate as much as possible. But yeah, hopefully you guys are doing well. I got some sleep, and I'm just going to kind of be chilling today working on sounds for the new Bitwig pack. So the first thing that we want to start off with is a wavetable, and unfortunately there's no wavetable maker in Bitwig, so I have to make it in something like Faceplant, but it's fine because that just helps me with kind of making something that I want anyways. But typically speaking, we start with something kind of like this, and then I throw it into a polymer, and then I have this huge rack and stuff that I start to send stuff through. So I think that what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start by making some wavetables in general, maybe like 10 or so more, and then I'll start to do the actual sound design and all of the other things to kind of help keep things relatively organized. So yeah. One thing that I'm not going to do though is I'm not really going to worry so much about, I don't think I'm going to worry so much about creating sub within these, just because there's going to be a dedicated sub anyways. So now let's go ahead and do that again. Kind of same thing here where we try to maybe boost right next to it. Let's see if the notch is all the way over here. Let's give it some distortion. Nothing too crazy. Okay, now we'll save this as I need to, let's do a new subfolder and we'll call this Æturnum for Bitwig. Why is this private? It's weird. Just changed the settings on me. Yeah, apparently this video was private, so I just switched it over. Welcome everybody. My name's Alckemy. I don't know what was up with that, but hopefully I didn't turn too many people away. The video should be public now, and should be good to go for that. So apologies if somebody tried to get in and that was not available. That stinks. Okay. So I'm making wavetables right now and working on a pack for Æturnum. And we're gonna be taking these wavetables and then sending them through a bunch of like effects and stuff that we have in order to create like these super racks. So it should be some fun to kind of put shit together in that way. So that was our first wavetable, and then now we'll just make some new ones. And kind of have some fun with switching some of this stuff up, and then we're going to be tossing this into Polymer whenever we're ready. Okay, let's start off by adding some distortion on this. And then we'll correct the sub here. I'm going to take away the second and fourth harmonics. And then on this one, I'm going to do the same. But something happened where that went awry. So let's try that again. Again, take off the second and fourth. We've got a third. We can reduce that one there and then bring back that's the fourth. Then bring back the fifth a bit. Okay. So that way we've got a lot to work with here. Yeah, that's pretty good for that. Now within this, we can grab ourselves. This is morphing? Yeah, it's morphing. Welcome to the channel, Shark. I don't think that I recognize you, so happy you're here. Thank you so much for checking out the channel. Let's go move this over here for a second. Hold on one second, my brother's calling. Hello?
Yo.
Hey, what's going on?
About an hour.
Yo.
Yo.
Yo, what's up?
What's going on?
I'm on stream right now. What's happening?
Oh, you are? How
Yeah.
long you be doing that for?
Probably for a couple hours.
Man, I want to bring this boat to the lake.
To what lake?
Well, the pond in the back.
Oh.
How big is the boat?
It's like, yeah, it's not that big.
So what, you're trying to bring everybody over?
You got like a remote control for it?
Well, I'm with JB, so we're just gonna chill on the lake or the pond.
Yeah.
I heard it was cold as fuck that day.
Aren't you with Devonte and Cam? I can hear him in the back.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're
But
trying.
I mean, I'm not bringing the grandma's just fuck off outside by the pond.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh shit, my bad. I just drank your drink.
All right. Well, come by if you want to. I'm gonna get back to work. Okay. But just let me know if you're coming by.
Shit, did I just...
Yeah, we'll come by in maybe like 45 minutes or an hour and just put it on the water for a minute and shake.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, cool.
All right. See ya. Sorry about that. He likes to talk, so I'm trying to get in and on with him as quickly as possible. So yeah, I just created some time of practice listening to English. So yeah, within this we kind of just messed this up a bit. As you can see, we created some notching and stuff, but we're gonna fix it, so it's fine. But what we're gonna do is add some automatic EQ to this. And that just kind of makes it a little bit louder over the whole thing. And then we'll get back into filtering and kind of slope this here, so that way we'll start to get some boosted frequencies. And then we can just create keyframes here to kind of, doesn't really matter, but it's just variety that we're trying to find within these wavetables. So now we've got some stuff that kind of moves around in this way. But I think that for this one, I do want to pull the gain back down on this. You can see that by the sweeping and stuff, it's gonna kind of move itself around. And we can kind of use that to our advantage to create like interesting movement for filter sweeps and stuff. So I'm gonna just maybe notch this one more time. Dude, faceplant is I can't not recommend it to anybody. It's just that good. Okay, we'll pull the slope up a little bit so that way it gets a little bit wider. Then we'll move that back down, and then once it gets to the last part, then we'll turn the resonance up and move that there. So now, between that, how much does faceplant cost? It depends on, like, there's different, can I just call you O? Or Target, I guess, or Bullseye, or I'm not really sure how I would say your name, but faceplant, it depends. Like, they have subscription model. They also have like a full suite, which is pretty expensive, but it's definitely worth every penny. I have a discount code in the link, or sorry, in the description below, but I would say, like, just do a trial version and see if it's right for you, and then that will kind of help you decide whether or not it's right. But the full price is $500 for the entire suite, but it comes with so much stuff. And, like, is this your guys' first time ever seeing faceplant? Because if it is, let me show you why this is so good. So I make these patches called Æturnum, and we're actually working on Æturnum for Bitwig right now. But what this pretty much does is, you can see here that we've got a bunch of stuff that's over here on the left, but we also have these racks that we can place up, and it's got like almost an infinite amount of modulators. But basically, whenever I play this, this might be a little bit loud. We start off as like a normal respace, and then whenever I turn a knob, it's going to act as a neuro randomizer. And then if I turn the generator on, then we can pretty much have it go into like insane effects. So the idea is to play in between these two whenever we work on this, so that way you get some neuro filtering, and then you also get some of the neuro effects. And so, yeah, I mean, I've got like hundreds of these now, of these things that I've made, but it's pretty much all kind of the same setup if you take a look. And so now I'm designing the wavetables in Bitwig to do the same thing, because it can do a very similar deal. But as you can see, like, it's got the neuro randomizer and then the generator. So, yeah, it's pretty fun. And that's pretty much like what my signature sound design thing is, and you can find those on my website at alckemy.com. But pretty much faceplant is the meta, and I know that Vital is free and Serum is great, but faceplant can do just some amazing things, and I would highly recommend that anybody get into that. Am I automating with Bitwig interface within faceplant module? No, it's all from faceplant. So faceplant costs like the average salary in my country. I hear you. The thing with it though is that they do have a subscription model, so there is that. But you know, yeah, there's no getting around that. It's definitely costly if you buy the whole thing. Now, one thing I will say though that I actually am doing with Bitwig is that I have this set to MPE controls. So if you have an MPE controller, then you can use, like if you push a note deeper, then it will activate one macro, and then if you slide it up, then it will activate the second macro, so you can do everything with just a single note. But I don't have a MIDI controller right now as I'm on my laptop, so but it's all designed in that way, and that would be the only outside thing. But with Faceplant 2 coming out, you actually have the ability to set up MPE within Faceplant, so it will make that irrelevant, and you don't have to do that anymore, which would be really nice. So yeah, I mean, and as of now, like it's we're, like I said, we're just kind of designing the wavetable aspects of this and making sure that the fundamentals and stuff are good, because again, these are all designed for bass. So that's kind of what the goal is with this. What's up, mate? Hey Evan, how's it going? Yeah, so let's find something to call this. We'll call it Dungeon Goblin. And I just have I have a thing with my aesthetic of like making monster names for whatever it is that I make, so it's just kind of one of those deals. But we can go ahead and move on to the next one now. What is the basic principle of neurosound? Honestly, just like heavy modulation on a bass, and that can constitute into pretty much anything, but that's really the characteristic of it, is just a super heavily processed and modulated sound that's in the realm of bass. And for the most part, I would say that, wait, what the hell just happened here? Cancel. Wait, what? That was weird. I would say that like one thing that you would be mindful of is that a lot of times it's really not really even warbliness. It's more, what depends, like there's different kinds and different characteristics, but the biggest aspect that I would say when you're trying to design something is like getting as creative as you can with filtering, and then using a mix of distortion and then filtering and distortion and filtering to kind of build a relationship with each other. But if I were to pull up like a neuro filter rack or whatever, like if I was gonna neurofy this or whatever. Okay, I fucked up because something went awry. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, there we go. That way the wavetable is what it's supposed to be. Yeah, so if you detune this to like 2 voices, you got yourself a Reese, and you send that through distortion. I usually like saturation. So if you just add one of my racks, and you turn in 3, and then you find something that's like a filter, like let's say Banshee filter, and then you add a limiter to kind of boost it up at the end, you can kind of see that just by turning this on with all of this filtering, filter, more filters, and then kind of a combination of that with a little bit of stereo processing on the outside, then you end up getting something like this. Hold on, random depth up. So and then it's a little bit kind of soft, so what we can also do is kind of boost up the high end a bit. So yeah, it's really just a matter of like knowing how to filter and knowing how to distort stuff, and that's kind of how you end up getting the sounds that you want. Hey, Masfa. But yeah, and that's the cool thing with Faceplant, is that it encourages it encourages like experimentation with like just an insane amount of effects, and that's one of the biggest advantages to using this over something else, is that you have unlimited effects, and then you've got like 30 something generators, so you can have like I think like 36 oscillators or something all interacting with each other. So there's quite a bit to get into, and that's why it's really fun, because it's very intuitive in that way as well. So yeah, and then of course it has the wavetable maker, which is really fun as well once you kind of get a hang of it. It's a little bit confusing at first, and like I had to take a lot of time to wrap my head around it, but at the same time it's definitely something that I would prefer over everything else now that I know how to use it. Especially since you can apply effects to the wavetable. So you have all this stuff that you can do, and then also different fixes and different blend modes and all that, and that just makes it like a powerhouse really for really any kind of sound that you want to make. Okay, we need to add a little bit of oomph to this. Maybe for ambient, it's automating very slowly, or wrong tool. Yeah, you can definitely do that. I've got tons of pads and stuff that you can apply to this, so it really like is, there's, I can't really think of anything that Faceplant would not be good at making, but I mean, I'll show you some pads and stuff that I've made. Musical. So you can see like this is still like heavily processed, but in a much different way. We've got 6 oscillators per thing with some filtering and stuff, but all you have to do is really play a chord. And we can introduce an octave, we can introduce a 7th, we can also introduce something like this, and kind of pull this down just a bit and make it more simple. Ooh. Let's see, I've also got some other ones that are really nice. I like this one a lot, and I always usually play the same chord just because it sounds so like ethereal or whatever, but I've got some other pads in here that are pretty cool. Like Space Channel 6 is really nice. And then you can also do other stuff too, like, let me see, this one is just like really strange. It's more of a soundscape than anything, but... Hey Chrome, I don't actually use Rift. It's not really for me, but I wouldn't say that it's a bad plugin. I just feel like I don't need it. Do I make music for movies or games? No, I'm pretty much a sound designer, and I dabble and try to make like halftime music and a lot of like glitch music and things that are kind of avant-garde, but um yeah, I it's kind of hard to say. There's a lot of stuff that I kind of jump into. But yeah, let me see if there are any other pads that I like to show off on here. It's kind of funny because like, hi Screek, I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you, but I intended on making stuff for Bitwig, but I guess we have questions about Faceplant. But I'm happy to tell you about Faceplant because it's amazing. Oh yeah, how could I forget this one? This one is amazing. I say that it's almost like I'm tooting my own horn. There we go. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones. And then there's some other stuff too. I would say like one of the biggest weaknesses uh, of Faceplant is that it doesn't have like some kind of arpeggiator or whatever. Well, it does, but it's a little bit more difficult to do. With 9 added chords, pads would be fantastic. Yeah, so you can actually use the step modulator here like you could in Serum or so to create like an arpeggiator or something, but so I have to be honest with you. I don't know chords. So um yeah. I've been trying to stick with stock Bitwig tools for now, but I feel like something is missing, maybe too minimal reverb. I think that the reverb department could be revisited. I also think that the distortion could use some work too, but with the recent release of the Chorus Phaser and Flanger Plus, it's dope. I just want kilohearts format filter for most, definitely a cool effect for basses. I get Faceplant eventually, but I need to get better at Serum first. I think that like between the step mod and transgate, it could be useful sequencing tools, just direct in Faceplant. Yeah, like you can definitely do it, but I would say it's not the most intuitive. Like you kind of have to have some forethought into how you design that, because obviously I did that, and you can definitely make arpeggiators and stuff, but it's not quite as easy or robust, right? I would definitely say that like Faceplant, in my opinion, is just as easy, if not easier, to learn than Serum, because Serum has like weird routing stuff, whereas Faceplant is like it doesn't have so many menus. I think that's the thing. You don't have to right click so much. You just click on one thing and it's like, oh, I want to add an effect. Oh, you do this. Oh, okay. Well, I want this to go somewhere. You just hit the plus button and then it's like, oh, wonderful. So it's really easy to map and really easy to do stuff. And I think that at some point I'll be doing like a walkthrough about how to use Faceplant, or at least like on a very basic sense. But yeah, man, I love this thing, and it has enhanced my sound design dramatically. But because some people don't have Faceplant, I'm also going to be making, some of these Æturnum style patches within Bitwig, and I already have. So I just have to grab an instrument layer and then find a preset here. Yeah, it's coming for sure. But even still, you can see here like this is the same kind of patch layout, even though it's not quite as elegant. But if you were to play something very simply, you can see that it has, it's got like some kind of neuro bass aspect to it. And then if I were to send it through the neuro filter or whatever, then it still kind of does the same thing, and then we can send it through a generator. So this is kind of what we're going to be getting into here in a bit, but as of now, I'm still kind of designing the wavetables. So yeah, you can still do this to some extent in Bitwig, but it's obviously a lot easier to do in Faceplant. And the reason why is just because of the workflow. Because you have this vertical layout of just like snap in, snap in, snap in, snap in, snap in. It's really fast to work within this, but yeah, even still, it's not to say that you can't do it in Bitwig. Okay, so I don't really know what happened there, but we're going to crossfade all of these together and get a smooth... There we go. So we'll save this as... let me see. I don't know, I need some kind of creature name. What's a subtle creature? Yeah, we'll call it a kappa. Kappas are a yokai. That's a turtle with like a bald head that looks like has a haircut of a friar. I don't know. It's just one of those weird things. So yeah. Hey Monty, long time no see. I would say that this is one of the easiest ways to just make a wavetable that morphs, and then like all the other stuff is kind of just processing through it, which is cancel. I just did that to the whole thing. There we go. And then at some point you can also draw in some harmonics and stuff that kind of sound interesting or whatever, but you never want these harmonics to be louder than the fundamental. Yeah, it's super easy. Okay, so now we want to crossfade this into each other. There we go. And then we'll do some filter processing to it now. I have tutorials on this on my master classes for all of the Arcanum members. It does come at a premium, but it's well worth it if you're into making neuro basses and stuff, because I'll show you how to do all this stuff from scratch. And it's definitely something that, like, if you're wanting to get into like the advanced aspect of Faceplant, that I think would be super beneficial. But as of now, I don't mind answering questions or anything either, just because I... Sorry, I'm just listening to it. Okay, because I kind of... I want to be helpful too, you know? Do I use FM from A, B? FM from A, B? Are you talking about in Serum? Maybe using pen input, it would feel pretty natural to draw your edits. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do, is I just use this one, and then you can just draw on your curve, or you can also use this to draw like other different kinds of curves, or you can use this one to kind of like do like snappies, kind of like this as well. So there's a lot of different options that you can use. But for me, I just draw in a curve and then I edit it and give it harmonics and stuff, and then like take some of the harmonics away, and then I do filtering to it to make it like a morphing growl bass or something. I think I wanted to, yeah, I lost my train of thought for a sec, sorry. So I always do a check with this too, just to make sure that I know that this is going to work well, but I just add a little bit of saturation and then make it a respace to try to see how it's going to pan out, because this is going to be the fundamental. Yeah, that's awesome. And then usually, and that's kind of in Serum. I do a little bit of FM, but it's usually like for different purposes. So like FM really comes to life for me when I do like bass plucks or like donks. But as far as like actual FM and stuff, I'm very subtle with it because I think that I get most of what I want out of just the wavetable itself. But now that we have that, we can turn up the gain a bit and come in this way. I also like don't use Serum anymore. It's not that it's bad by any means, I just have no reason to. I have zero incentive to do anything with Serum except for maybe like make a tutorial or something, but even then I'm like bro, like I don't know, I'm trying to get everybody on the faceplant train. Random unrelated question real quick. Do you use something like the clip to zero strategy and what are your opinions on it? I think it works really well, but you have to be careful to like turn your stuff down as far as like real world listening volume. It definitely is something that you can do, and it's something that I do in particular, but you can also damage your ears pretty bad if you're not careful with it. Because even though it says that like you're clipping something to zero and it gets super loud, that doesn't mean that it doesn't become loud in your actual headphones. So like you have to be mindful of that. Okay, and I think that one thing that I'm going to do just as like a general thing is I'm actually going to take out some of these low mid harmonics. And I'm just going to leave it as that because that should clear up. And actually we made our wavetable more complex that way by taking that out as a filter. So okay. So from that, let me turn that back off. Everyone watching, make sure to leave a thumbs up. Thanks, Databroth, and everybody watching, go follow Databroth because he does very cool things with sound design as well. All right, thanks. I'm just making sure that I'm following Bathymetrics on that makes sense of genre music. Well, okay, so like the thing with Bathymetrics is that she also makes like very specific kinds of music that are centered around a specific genre, right? So like it's hard because the way that you mix mid-tempo isn't the same way that you would mix halftime, isn't the same way that you would mix drum and bass, but some of the principles still apply. So you're gonna have to kind of like adjust it towards like your own thing, and also like you're wanting to like experiment with what kind of mix you actually want, right? Like not a clip to zero strategy isn't always the best case scenario if you want to have something that has a lot of dynamics in it. And I say that like I know like a lot about mixing and stuff, but my mixes are shit. But just like from like just from a concept perspective, you know what I mean? Like when you're coming into a mix or whatever, like, yeah, it's a great way to get stuff loud, but that might not be what you actually want. I'm trying to think about like what's a lion. Yeah, we'll just call this lichen. That's understandable. It did seem that she focuses on low dynamic range especially. Yeah, and that's fine. But again, just kind of be mindful of it because sometimes like you can end up destroying your sound or making stuff sound like insanely harsh, and that's not always the best idea. Okay, let's add some distortion to this just right off the top. She definitely has a point though, like with making stuff really loud, so like you can't really deny that, right? I think I just messed this up. Yeah, I did. Damn it. I have to make sure that whenever I'm editing a wavetable that it has to only be selecting this one. Otherwise, it doesn't do the thing. It would be nice if there was like a keyboard shortcut or a tool or something to only draw in odd harmonics, but that's not really a thing, so unfortunately. Okay, let's add some of this. And then another thing that I want to do is there is a thing on here that's is it the phase offset? I think it's the phase offset, but this thing is really cool. The wavetable editor could be improved in a future version, mayhaps. If you start here and rotate this by like this much, you end up getting some really interesting stuff, kind of how this moves together through that. But you want to be careful about like cycling through, because if you do that, this is going to have like a cool like twisting effect if you look here. So sometimes you end up getting some really interesting stuff like that. But again, as you can hear, like you have to be careful because you could end up destroying your sound. From the phase rotator. Okay, now let's add in some of this stuff. And again, we're just trying to get movement around the low mid region because that's going to help us create these vowel sounds. Kind of like that. So that's what we're looking for. Now we can normalize the waveform by setting this to a little bit of drive and then setting the mix to about 50%. So yeah. We all. And there you have it. So the respace check. Hey, custom random 24. Do you have LUFS range you typically aim for your tunes? No, because it's a struggle for me to finish tunes anyways. But I would say that like if you're wanting to respect like the clipping and the loudness factor and stuff, I think that like -7 LUFS is what streaming is, I think. And also, like, if you have something like Pro L2 and some of the other, like, I guess more modern limiters that follow that range of loudness, then you can set a target factor here. So, yeah, I guess I have -7 here. But a lot of times whenever I actually have tunes that are, like, quote-unquote done, I just crank it out because yeah. Mixing is my least favorite thing about making music. And I've found myself getting into using like more distorted sounds and stuff anyways, so I almost feel like it's it feels like for me it's relatively impossible to get a mix that I'm happy with, so I just put it out and then I'm like, whatever. Did I save this? I did, right? Yeah, I did. Okay. Just pop an ozone on and tweak it a bit. The light version goes free fairly often. I would not recommend that. I mean, I don't mean to be rude, Chrome, but I would not recommend that. No. Generally speaking, you want your master to be like as clean as possible, because when you start doing stuff on your master, then you're affecting the entire tune, and you don't want to. If you really want to be meticulous with mixing and stuff, like, you don't want to do that. You want to, like, maybe you can get away with just doing like stems and groups and all that, but as far as like slapping on a master or something like that, you don't want to do that. And the other thing too is that, like, I kind of mix as I go with specific sounds. So like if I were to make like a neuro bass out of this or whatever, right, like there's specific things that I would do to help make this like pre-work. I'm not a pro, so I got the amateur route, and that's fine. And I'm not saying that, like, I'm not saying that you're wrong by any means. I'm just saying I wouldn't personally do that. But you know what I mean? Like, doing something like this would be helpful because it not only makes the sound better, in my opinion, or more clear, but having a notch in between something like that is going to be beneficial towards making this work in the tune, because it's going to leave space and it's also going to clear the mud. So you know what I mean? It's like different things like that. And then maybe on the master of this or on the output, I would have something to where I would remove all of the stereo below 140 hertz. And that way it's just already prepared. It's already done with the sound. So anything that's in stereo below 140 is going to be removed, right? And so that way I'm like doing myself, or trying to do myself favors in order to be able to be like, I just want to be able to use this sound and not have to do like insane mixing. Yeah, exactly, right. I think the questions are important, but I find the attention given to loudness and stereo to be disproportionate. Making good music needs to come first. Yeah, and the thing too is that, like, you know, people are, that brings up another good question about like phase cancellation and stuff. And on one end, you know, most clubs back in the day were on a mono PA system or whatever, but like 90% of your user experience is on stereo. Like, this is stereo. This is a stereo signal. You know, your car is a stereo signal. Boom boxes, sound bars, whatever. Like, most people are on hi-fi listening environments now, and so like it's changed a lot. So I think that, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing to have stuff that is mono compatible by all means, but at the same time, what happened to the wavetable that I was making? What? But at the same time, did I delete something? Okay, that just disappeared. Whatever, I'll do it again. But at the same time, like, you know, it's changed a lot, and I wouldn't worry so much about, you know, mono compatibility and all that stuff anymore. Unless if it like is absolutely noticeable and just sounds like garbage, then, you know, that's definitely something to consider as well. So let's apply just a little bit of this. Again, we kind of want this to... I seriously abused Ozone Maximizer for a while. I'm cutting that out now, or at least using it when I know I need it. I mean, if it's already pretty well mixed and you don't really have a lot of dynamics, then I think that, if I'm not mistaken, a maximizer is like an insane multi-band limiter that like pushes everything up hella hard. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I wouldn't use that like with something that's kind of already has like something that is going to be disproportional, like with your crest factor or whatever. Then I guess on the way back we can do like a cool little notch sweep or something, so that way it comes up and then back down. Wow, 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 wow. Let me see here. What else do I want to do to this? I'm gonna blend these together. Let's see how that pans out. Cool. Save that one. Doesn't matter. Maybe one more. And then I think that I'll try to make this one more more saw-like. Kind of like so. And then I'll just have it go into something like absolutely insane. Cool. And then I'm going to turn this back off so I can kind of hear this a little bit more cleanly. Yeah, we don't necessarily want this to be squarey, so... What about creating a track from scratch on stream? I do that almost every stream. I don't know if you knew that or not. Gnarly in the best way possible than any other VST. I love Faceplant, dude. I can't say enough good things about it. But yeah, I started a tune. Wait, hold on. I did this tune on stream the other day. That's not playing. Hold on. Sorry. Use the good title? Oh, yeah. I guess this is the most recent tune that I'm like working on finishing. There's no Foley. It's all faceplant. Still in faceplant though. Yeah, so let me switch this back over so I can readjust that to the headphones. Thanks for the lessons and info, Alc. I'm now making sicker sounds and tracks than I ever had before. Peace. Yeah, dude, for sure. Thanks for coming in. Sound designing your Foley is sounds is OP. That track is 100% faceplant. Everything in that was faceplant. So I did the kick, the snare, the percussion, the pads, the squarey stuff, whatever. Everything 100% was from faceplant, and that's kind of how I make my tunes now. Is I do like resampling and stuff, but at the same time, I make everything I need usually from sounds like this. Why you stop it? No, because it's not done yet. But yeah, so and then if I'm going to make music on stream, then I always start from a blank canvas, which is usually something like this, and then I just start to make the kick, and then I make the snare, and then I make all of the other stuff, and then once I have the percussion, then I start piecing together the pieces of the puzzle. So, yeah. Okay, so now that we have that, we can get into doing our filtering again. And this time I think I'm going to start with boosting some stuff. Oh. Croaked it. Excuse me. Wow. We'll send this through this bad boy here, and what I'll do is kind of just like watch this and look at where the harmonics get a little bit too peaky. Dude, thanks so much. I really appreciate that. My channel is kind of based off of like the idea of resample everything and I think that with enough effect processing, you can make any kind of sound, even from the most simplest of waveforms. Between like understanding envelopes and distortion and then spatial stuff, like yeah, I think that you can make any kind of sound. You can't make any sound into any sound, but you can make any kind of sound into anything with enough processing. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to sound great, but the fact is, or like the idea, at least for me, is that you can. And that's kind of what got me into making music like this and also sounds like this in the first place. Was like, man, I don't want to sit here and scroll through a bunch of presets and samples and shit. Like, I just want to make something, and then I want to use that to make everything else. And that way it's honestly just a matter of efficiency for me, I think. Okay, so I don't need this because I'm not going to be doing any sound design in this, but resampling lets you also stack more and more effects when your PC would blow a fuse otherwise. And that's why you try to get the best PC that you can, right? I don't know if you've heard of high-tech psytrance, but I think you really dig the style, man. It celebrates interesting. I mean, if that's anything that Dash Glitch does, then I would say that there's a thing with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let me see here. Predator table, big softy. I'm pretty sure that I used some of these. I don't remember. It's fine. Not Dash Glitch. It's a lot more experimental. Oh, I see. New generation. Okay. I have to have moved that to... It's fine. Control A. Clean up? No. Oh, god damn it. That was a bad idea. What have I done? What have I done? Okay, window. View. Clean up. There we go. Dash's style is more commercial. That's almost like oxymoronic to say psytrance is commercial, but I get what you're saying. So now we'll get into the actual processing of this other stuff, where we can grab our instrument layer. And then I have a preset, which is the Ultra Bass Maker for Bitwig. And everything is already set up for me, so all I have to do is come into this and change this into a wavetable. And then now from here we need to go to import and then go to kilohearts, user wavetables, and then redo that. And then we can pretty much use all the same things that we did today. So we'll just start with this one, I guess. Maybe we'll start with this one. It doesn't really matter, but it's kind of already ready to go. Sweet. So now that we have that, we've pretty much got all this other stuff that we can kind of just go through, and everything here is mapped already. So let's start with the mids per se. And we'll turn this on. And then what we can do is come into this and grab like an EQ plus. And we can start mapping these modulators here, or these nodes rather. Kind of like so. No, dude, I'm trying to, no, please, stop it. Okay. Something kind of like that. And then we can map these via this. Kind of like so. And now what we can do is we can create other kind of like, oh, I hate that I can't use the middle wheel or the scroll wheel to do this kind of stuff. But we can create these little resonance points kind of like this in order to create more like interest, and then we can just use one of these to do the reverse to this. Kind of bring it up a bit, bring that up a bit as well, kind of like so. But what this is going to do is kind of give us a complex waveform. I say waveform, sorry, a complex filter shape to give us more interest in the middle region. Cool. So from there, it's kind of just a matter of continuing the same trend of like stacking stuff together. And we can probably do a little bit of post drive on that one and use maybe this one here to drive some of that through the low mids. And this doesn't really matter because, again, we're using this only in the mid band, so it's kind of just a matter of like how hard can you mess it up. And then we kind of just apply the modulators here to do the thing, and it would be really cool if you could have individual randomized filters for each voice of unison. That would be insane. I never really thought of that. Which you technically could do something like that, right? Because you can actually just do an effect stack like this, and then have each voice detuned individually. I just don't know how that would turn out though. And maybe something else that I might want to do is just add just a touch of width to this, so that way we've got a complex moving. So let's see, what else do I want to do with this? We can also do a little bit of comb with just a little bit of this here. And maybe just dance around this just a touch. Okay, and then we can finish this up with just a touch of distortion on the mid-band. Maybe we can try something like amp and turn this off, pull this down just a bit and pull this up, kind of like so. And then we can sweep this. Kind of in that region there. We'll turn the output EQ off, and then we can mess with some of these analog model, transistor, digital, favors sine waves, wrapping variation. Probably an analog model would be best. Flip the phase of the cabinet. So now that we have something like that, we can go into our top band here and apply some other stuff too. Maybe apply a filter. You can do that in Dune. Let's see what else we might want to do to this. I would like this to have just a touch of crunchiness to it, so I'm trying to think. That's something else we can do. And I don't have to use like all of like the whole chain of effects on this in order for it to be interesting, but let me see here. I can move this up just a tad, pull this off, and just focus on the high band here. Something that might be interesting to try as well is to just crunch this a bit. Oh, I never knew that. And we can just clip it a touch. Now with this in particular, I would like this to go down a little bit further. Cool. Now, are we boosting the high end of this at all? Okay, I want to be really careful with this. So doing this on the high band is my version of like OTT. You just do upwards compression to the high band as opposed to doing like the actual preset setting, and that way you can preserve the dynamics of the mid and low, whereas on the high end it just gives it a little bit more like crunchiness. In Dune, but you can manually set different filters per voice up to 8 voices. That's pretty cool. I'm going to turn this down to 2.5, just a touch, so that way we can try to preserve that. But now that we have that, we can focus on the newer aspects of this where I guess you could use the Bitwig modulators to randomize cutoffs and res of each filter. That's pretty much what I'm doing. Okay, now that I listened to that, we went just a little bit overboard on the high end of this. At least it seems like it to me, so I'm going to pull this back just a bit. There we go. I don't want to hurt anybody's ears. So now that we have that, though, we can focus on the generator rack, and for this, we've got all these different things here, and then we just add effects to it and then apply it. So I don't really care what happens on this. I kind of just have fun doing stuff. So we can kind of just focus on like low-key fucking everything up. We need to turn it on though. We have to be really careful with this stuff because this is where stuff gets loud, so just try to be mindful of that in particular. Like maybe what I might even do is automate or modulate the cutoff of this. Just do that there and then leave the low end here. And this is going to sound like doo-doo for now, but just give me some time to kind of shape it, and then it'll end up being interesting. Yeah, I will say that, like, for these, you kind of have to put a little bit more work into it in order to kind of get something that's somewhat desirable. But it's fine. Yeah, and I don't like I have to like scroll over to the left and then scroll over to the right and then scroll over to the left and then scroll over to the right, but at the same time it's fine. That's not going to do anything. What we do want to do is turn the range up to like maybe that much, so that way this is actually going to do something. But now we can kind of just play around with different settings on here and see what it does. Sweet. It's getting there, but I think that it needs some more like filtering, and the reason why I say that is because sometimes you need to separate the sound from the other effects in order for it to isolate. So sometimes by doing things in this way you can kind of get some interesting stuff. Sweet. So that's how we make a patch. What was this? Deadlight. Okay. Is there something? I feel like there's something that I'm missing. Oh, there is. Yeah, I need to save these racks. So that way, if you ever want to come back and use these racks, you can do so. Dude, I just want to rename this, please. Okay. Cool. So now we have another preset available that we can use in order to kind of do similar things with that. And the other cool thing about this is that this is just meant to be like a starter, because what you can always do is, like, if let's say you already have multipass or something, right, you can honestly just come into here and do the same stuff. Let me see here. This one is always really cool. Make sure that there's a limiter on there, so you can kind of interact all of these sounds with each other in order to create really interesting ideas. So between this knob and these racks, alckemy.com. So, yeah. I think from this point, I'm going to take a quick break because my ears need a break. That actually hurt, and I need to use the restroom. So let me open up a project that's super chill. Let me see where the time portal is. Or the time something. Okay, follicle. Underwater. Time library. There we go. Oh fuck. I don't think this is gonna work. Shit. Oh no, it's fine. Yeah. That's really loud. Okay, I'll be right back. almost done. Yeah. That's one thing that I've been really trying to be careful of is just, I have tinnitus, and I always worry that like whatever I'm making is super shrieky and stuff. So I really want to make sure that I'm being mindful of my ears and everyone else's ears as well. Does anybody have any questions about anything I just did? Laughs and gluten. Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that my hearing is still like really good, but I don't know. That might be something interesting. I'm willing to try it. Kind of curious as to like how to survive that though. Did you guys do anything fun this weekend? Yeah, makes sense. Hey, Al, how's it going? Shit, dude. I'm so sorry to hear that. What the fuck? You alright? Damn. Can't sleep, so I'm glad you're streaming. Dope, man. We're gonna do another sound here in just a second, but I'm kind of just chilling for a hot sec, and giving my ears a break because I'm really like my ears hurt. Well, they don't hurt, but they're ringing a lot. So we're just gonna kind of hang out for a bit. I'm gonna chat while I play some guitar, and it will only be for like 10 minutes or so. So if you came in and you want to see more sound design, just give me like a little bit to let my ears relax, and then it's a little bit out of tune. Let me see here. I'm here for the guitar. Hey, Al, do you think that a MacBook Air 8 gig 256 is enough? It's expensive in Brazil. It's only a viable model. I think if it's an M1, then you could probably do pretty okay. But I think that you do need more storage. Just got an Acer laptop with Ryzen 40 and 512s, 8 gigabytes RAM. So, like, if you just got a laptop, why would you want to upgrade? Big ups from Brazil. You ever consider trying slap bass? No, because it's really expensive to buy a slap bass. So the concept behind my logo is, so Delta, fuck man, can I get this right? So delta is the triangle, and that symbolizes change. And then this is actually a crescent moon. So thinking of returning it, I think a MacBook Air is a fantastic machine. And it can do like 90% of what you need it to. But if you're making patches like me, then you might want something more. But yeah, this is actually my grandmother's guitar. It's a steel string, so it's really hard to play the stuff that I want to play. But yeah, it's really hard to play like the way that I want to play, because I do like finger picking, and for one, I don't have any fingernails, but two, the strings are really, really hard. Yeah, I just started making dubstep. Usually make house. I think you'd be fine with dubstep or house, especially if you're into like rhythm or something. Use a bow? I don't have a bow. Fuck, sorry. This shit hurts. Oh man, yeah, the steel string hurts like a mother. Yeah, steel strings hurt. Any tips on making really glitchy fast, like 200 BPM music sound soulful and melodically anchored? Yeah, give me just 1 second. Hello?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
We're here, man.
You guys
We're
are...
gonna walk down to the park
Okay.
and mess around with the little bow.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll come join you in a bit.
I'm about to study this little road down there.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I'm done. All right, dope. So, do you believe a MacBook Air will get around 1,500 US? No, absolutely not. Instead just get an M1 MacBook or Mac Mini, a Mac Mini for like half the price. So when it comes to like making like really fast glitch music, right? The thing with like 200 BPM is that if you half time it, it's 100 BPM. So you can play something in double time, but you can play a melody that's half this or double the speed, right? Half the speed, twice as slow, right? So if you have something that's like, then you can have like really slow evolving chords and stuff, and that will actually help you kind of evolve that over. But what I would look into is looking at like classically themed IDM that's more focused on melodies and like chords and stuff, and then all the glitches and stuff, you kind of just put that in the back of the mix as you kind of create like a sound thing with that. But yeah, in my opinion, I think that like if you're trying to do something, whatever music that you're trying to make, base model M1 is 1,200. That I can't justify that, man. That's just not worth it. Why is it so like? You might as well import one for that's like a higher tier for a little bit more money, but like minus the price. That's fucking insane. Import taxes in Brazil is 60%? What the fuck? You might as well travel, like, dude, you could take a plane to the US for cheaper and go buy a computer and go back home for less money than what you're looking at. And not to mention that, but like, what is the Brazilian exchange rate? That's fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry, dude. That sucks. Yeah, so yeah, for making like IDM music or like glitchy stuff, I think that is way lower. I mean, are you working minimum wage or? Not that it matters. I don't really care what you do, but is $230 US dollars an hour? Fuck. A luxury tax that gets slapped onto any pro audio gear? Oh my god, you guys, this is terrible. Think so. Oh, $238 a month? Even still, that's ridiculous. Ugh. Alright, let's do another sound. Thank you guys for chilling with me. Hey Yoku. Appreciate you listening to my shitty steel string guitar. I'm used to playing like a what's it called? Not a flamenco, but I have like a classical nylon guitar that I like to use, so. And the VGA is a crappy 1650 GT. Yeah, that's rough, man. I am sorry. I made a lot of mistakes. A lot of mistakes. There's a lot of transitions and stuff that I still need a lot of work on, but it's still fun to just, you know, to just do the thing. But how many of these do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, I have a lot more to do. Okay. So, yeah, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a wavetable. We'll go to the Æturnum for Bitwig, and then we can use Dungeon Goblin. Do I ever do mixed feedback streams? No, not for mixing. I don't have the proper tools to give mixed feedback. Yeah, I don't think that I would be the person to ask about that anyways, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to turn the filter rack off for now. And we're going to start this one with a frequency shifter. That I think we're just going to turn the range down to like this much. I remember you used to do feedback streams. Yeah, you're right, I did used to, but I don't do them anymore. And the reason why is, well, there's a lot of reasons why, to be honest. Yeah. I think the big thing is that it's just a lot of fucking work for me. Because whenever I do feedback, I think as some of you guys can remember, like, I don't just spend 5 minutes listening to your tune and then being like, change the snare. It's like, no, let's talk about this, let's talk about this, let's talk about this, let's talk about this. And then like, just for the matter of like what it's worth and how much energy it takes out for me to do the thing, I just don't, yeah, I don't, I'm sorry. It's just too much. It's too much, and like, I don't get as much benefit out of it as I would like or as I would hope. It's better, like, I'm better off spending that time doing tutorials or streaming like actual production or something than it is for me to give feedback. And I don't mean that as like a mean thing or anything. It's just kind of like, that's just kind of like how that kind of came to be. And I like doing it, but you know, like the other thing too is that I run into the risk of like copyright issues. So I got one today from one from like 3 months ago. I got a copyright, not a strike, but a copyright claim. And what happens is people release their music, but they don't change it enough. And so whenever they post it on like Repost Network or whatever distributor they have, it ends up causing problems for me because, what's it called? It ends up causing issues for me because people are releasing their tunes and they're thinking that, you know, like I'm doing some, or YouTube or whatever thing gets claimed thinks that I'm uploading someone else's music or something, and that's why it's just not worth it for me. And like I said, I like doing it, but I just haven't found the answer, and I don't really know what to do about that situation, to be honest. Yeah, it really does. And it sucks because I know that like a lot of people could use or benefit from the feedback. I need that to go higher up. I also need this to go higher up as well. I didn't even think of that. I hope none of my tunes had that problem. I don't know. Because like it doesn't say whose it is, and everybody has like a different artist name and stuff, but I mean, hold on. Give me just 1 second. How do I check like my notifications or something? Creator support. Okay, well, it's gone, but yeah, I had one today that was like a copyright claim, and I was just like, fuck. There's like nothing I can do about it. I don't think I published any of the things I submitted. I mean, and that's fine, you know, and like I said, like I don't, like, it creates a problem either way, right? Because that deters people from releasing music potentially, because they're like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not a positive thing, and that's why I'm like, dude, just like, I think that the critique and request is fine. I don't know. I'd have to see, like, I'd have to see it, to be honest. I'm not really sure, like, what has... I'm trying to think. Sorry, I'm trying to do sound design and talk at the same time, but, like, what's been implemented with MIDI 2.0 so far? I'm guessing Cubase, maybe? If anything, I would, like, I don't know, I always think that with stuff like that, Cubase is the first to adopt anything of the sort. I'm excited for MIDI 2.0. Okay, on the high band, let's go ahead and throw a filter here. Just kind of let this do its thing. I hope everything will support it eventually. Well, yeah, definitely. I guess what I was wondering was like what's adopted it so far. I would like, I guess I could use this for saturation. I think the idea with MIDI 2.0 is that it will allow MIDI to communicate an intricate web of sorts rather than be isolated to the way it works now. Yeah. I mean, I don't remember exactly what it does, but I remember reading up on it. But at the same time, I'm kind of wondering like what, if anything, has happened yet with MIDI 2.0 adoption. Okay, now one thing I want to do with this is turn that down, and then just a little bit of drive. Well, that seems okay. Okay, I'm going to adjust the reverb on this just a bit. Because it's a little bit... The fuck was that? It's just a little bit too much. I like that this little thing just is already there. Now with this, I do like the saturator, but it just doesn't give me enough. Yeah, I guess it just doesn't give me enough. I'm gonna actually try a bit crusher on this instead, because I want this to like start sounding super crunch. So I'm not really gonna touch any of this stuff. But I am gonna clip this here. Yeah, even still, it's just not a, it doesn't really saturate this in the way that I want it to. Oh, it's a little better. Yeah, like I said, I think that some people have already adopted it, but I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure who. I guess maybe one thing that I can try is, since this is kind of being a little bit cantankerous, is I can just boost this a bit on the fundamental. There we go. That's always a quick cheat that you can do in case if you need to do the thing. So I also forgot that with this I have presets for this that I made a while ago. It's just that I don't remember when I made these, so maybe I'll just make these over again. I think that would be the easiest way to go about doing this. And then another thing with this is that I noticed that on the filter here, it seems like that's not completely up all the way. Okay, I guess it is. Alright, I'm tripping. Alright, let's start with a frequency shifter. I need to turn this on. And then we'll grab a pitch shifter. Use a chorus on this one because that sounds really cool. Whoa. MIDI 2 would be dope. Who knows if they will get adopted. Oscillator promising for a while. Oh, I see. As long as we move over to one new control method and not like 6 alternate options. Well, I'm sure that everybody's going to want like different... They're going to want to do different stuff, right? So I feel like that would be really hard to... Let's grab another one here. We're gonna set this one up. That's cool. It's cool because, like, on one end, I don't have the same tools as I do as Phase Plant, but on the other end, it's kind of fun to just mess around and see, like, what else I can do. This one's pretty cool. I think we're going to save this one as disintegration, because that's kind of what it sounds like to me. Did I spell that correctly? Disintegration? Yeah, okay. Oh, fuck. Whatever. Birdit Cure album. Best Cure album. Generator. The only song that I remember from The Cure is show me, show me, show me how you do that trick. The thing that makes me scream, she said. Something like that. You know, that one. Poor Harley. Okay, well, we're on our merry way to making tons and tons and tons of these, so I'm gonna shoot for like, I don't know, maybe 20 to 30 of these to do the thing. But yeah, does anybody have any questions on anything? Anything that you all would like to see? Or anything that you would like to wonder about, or things and such? I think once I have like 20 to 30 of these, then I'll do my double check and make sure that all of them sound okay and all that, and then the Æturnum pack for Bitwig will be complete. But even still, I think it's pretty dope to be able to figure this out and have this like interesting rack to be able to like, fuck stuff up with, which is pretty fun. So yeah. I don't really have anything else that I want to do though, so I'm kind of just chilling for now, I think. Oh, I got to GA rank on Mega Man X Dive, which is really fun. And then there are the other things. That way. Yeah. Ouch. Well, folks, I guess that is the end of the line for me. Thank you so much for being here with me. Really means a lot. And I will see you tomorrow. Tears my fingers up. Anyways, much love, everybody. I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your evening. I will be back on tomorrow, probably around the same time. And I'm just going to be working this whole week on YouTube. So if you guys have anything that you want to see or any type of stuff for videos, then I would be more than happy to abide and make some content that you guys want to see. So let me know in the comments or let me know in the chat, and I'll be sure to get back to it. But much love, everybody. I will see you all very soon.